Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Super Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We are so glad you joined us this morning, whether you're on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on our new app, by the way. Sign up for the new app. Go to the App Store. You got to download the new one. We got a new one, so you can listen to it. Just going to have to hit that a couple times, but you'll follow it. And also, we have a new link for our podcast as well, as we're trying to improve everything, our sound quality and everything. So get that new link on the podcast. I know some of you guys were saying, oh, it hadn't been updated. No, we've been doing shows. It's all updated, but we got a new link to the JP Peterson Show. So make sure you're subscribing and following that one. All right, we got lots to get to this morning. Breaking news involving Aaron Rodgers. Breaking news involving Jose Siri, which is not good. We have all kinds of great takes to get to following the Bucs' big win over Minnesota. We'll digest that with Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report at 10:30. TJ Reeves, Bucs sideline guy who was up there in Minnesota, and maybe his ears are still ringing. He will join us at 11 o'clock, and my cohort and co-host Peter Blake is with me this morning as well. What's up, Peter? How are you, sir?
What's going on, buddy? Happy Tuesday. And if you're a Jets fan, maybe not so much.
Poor Mike Greenberg. I've never seen, we're all, we try to be as objective as we can, and our allegiances come out from time to time, which, of course, all of you know, but I try to be objective about my Seminoles. I try to be objective about the Gators and everybody else. We all want to see what your allegiances are. I think he takes it to a little bit of a ridiculousness with the Jets, with Aaron Rodgers, and now he looks like a complete fool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to laugh at the situation with Aaron Rodgers. And this, I know like some people are just like, so morbid about this, like the dude died or there was a death in the family. It's football. Guys get injured. Old players get injured a lot. He's got gazillions of dollars. He's going to be fine. He'll find a dark room to handle it. He'll do some ayahuasca. He's going to be fine. So let's just say that. I'm not going to come on here and do some, memorial to Aaron Rodgers. It's not about that. It's a crappy injury, and it just goes to show you. And Peter, I think it was you that asked me yesterday. It's like,
yes, I did. I was thinking of you
about
last
the Jets, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
how are they going to screw this? And what did I say? I said, I don't know how they're going to screw this up because they got a lot of great weapons offensively. He's still a tremendous quarterback in terms of his ability to throw the football as Tom Brady was late into his mid-40s. They have all the ingredients. They added Dalvin Cook. They have Garrett Wilson. They got a lot of good, and their defense is lights out. I like their coach, but I said it's the Jets. It's the Jets organization. They'll find a way to F this up. I don't know how, but they'll find a way to F this up. And of course, they didn't do anything, although I thought it was very interesting. I don't know if you saw the tweet by, Aaron Rodgers' old offensive tackle. What's his name?
David
Bakhtiari. Thank you.
Bakhtiari, yes.
It was like, and it was interesting because I didn't really put these pieces together, but he's like, it's time to get rid of this crappy artificial turf. Because there are some people that believe that type of artificial turf, when they have the new, the rubber stuff that they put down in there, that it lends more to Achilles injuries and non-contact injuries. And he said in the tweet, basically, hey, we're tearing all this stuff up for the World Cup because the World Cup, the soccer players won't play on that stuff. They refuse to play on it. And, the NFL has enough money to take care of grass fields. They have enough money in technology to take care of grass fields. The Bucs could easily put in an artificial surface at Raymond James Stadium, but they don't do it. And he said it's time that we take care of the players and go to a regular turf surface on all these places. Look, up north, I know it gets to be the frozen tundra, right? But they can do it. They've been able to do it, and you can put heaters in the field and whatnot. Maybe this will be the injury that makes that happen. But it is interesting that they're going to do that for the World Cup. I didn't realize that. All these NFL stadiums are going to rip up their artificial turf to do that. And why? Because they're paying them to do so. It's all about the Benjamins.
Right. But what took them so long? I mean, how do you not do that for a guy that's 39 years old? How do you not do that for players that are basically, putting their life there out on the line every Sunday? I don't know how you do it now for the World Cup, because of course it's all about the bottom line. We always talk about it, but how do you not do it for your football players? And by the way, how do the Jets have such a porous offensive line? 4 plays in the game. I am absolutely thinking of you, because you said it best. What could the Jets do? And you know what? It's about injury. And that's why you look at the Tom Brady situation and you're like, damn, Tampa Bay was so fortunate not to have that type of injury. But of course, they put everything around him so you wouldn't have that type of injury.
Exactly.
The Jets would do that. And what was the biggest question? The offensive line.
Yep. And it wasn't good enough.
Nope.
And A-Rod is out for the year. And, you got to question if he's going to be able to come back. At 30, this is kind of the same situation that Ryan Jensen is in. There's a lot of mystery. I shouldn't say mystery, but there's uncertainness about his knee and what this cartilage thing is that's not allowing him to play, because the ligaments are healed. The ligaments are all healed. And with this Achilles injury, it's one of the toughest rehabs there is, right? And Damian Woody, I heard him on this morning on Get Up saying, it ended my career. I was I had every, intention to return, but 2 months into the rehab, I was like, I'm done. I have 12 years, got my Super Bowl rings, I'm good. And you just wonder if Aaron Rodgers, in the headspace that he's in, is probably going to do the same thing. He's got other things he wants to do. He wants to go host Jeopardy, right? He's got a lot of things in his life he wants to go do. And probably rehabbing an Achilles injury to get back and play football is probably not one of them. But he's owed a lot of money by the New York Jets. They redid his contract. They're tied to him for 3 years. I think that look on Robert Saleh's face was the look that he knew. It's like, my future is tied to his future, and his future is probably done, which means my future is probably done as a head coach. That was the look I saw on his face.
This is what I thought of.
Love them sound effects, man. You had to get that one in.
I had to get it in. Yes, we had to get
it. That was I could hear that when I was looking at his face, maybe something worse. It is. But geez, how about the Jets? How about the Jets coming back and winning that game?
Yeah.
By the way, we're going to get to Bucks, and we got tons of Bucks talk coming up with Scott Reynolds, and I got my monologue this morning is on Devin White. After watching the All 22, I got through most of it last night. Wow. So we'll get to that in a second. So Bucks fans, hang in there. We just want to get through this breaking news as it is. There's more than one way to skin a cat, right? And they went out there last night and played inspired football, and to win it the way they did. Isaiah Gibson, an undrafted guy from Sam Houston State, where Zion McCollum, I believe, is from. By the way, Zion, very good on special teams, and played excellent on special teams.
Absolutely.
Definitely added some pop. So he's coming along as well. But this kid, Isaiah Gibson, who had a prominent role in Hard Knocks, if you watched a couple of those episodes, which I have, really good stuff. And he comes out and pops that punt return to win the game in overtime. I mean, saving the New York fan base from a disastrous 2 nights at MetLife, JetLife Stadium, whatever the hell you want to call it. And they win it with a walk-off punt return, which is extremely rare. I saw that at SportsCenter. They were going back to my good friend Tamarick Vanover, who did it for the Chiefs back in 1987 as a rookie in his 6th game. But no rookie's ever done it in his NFL debut, a walk-off punt return, as far as I know. Unbelievable.
Absolutely unbelievable. Here you go.
Sam Martin corrals the snap. It's a short punt. Gibson on the return. Near side. I don't see any flags. Gibson inside the 30. Hits the Jets. And he's going to go. Jets win it. Touchdown. Rookie Xavier Gibson. Game over.
There you go. Game over. And
wow.
It's 3 phases of the game, right? It's offense, defense, and special teams. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and we probably didn't talk enough about special teams yesterday because
Mm.
we've ripped on Keith Armstrong for years, the special teams coach of the Buccaneers, for good reason. Special teams have been god awful for this team. They were a winning edge. They were a winning edge in this game, and that's when your offense is going to play the way the Bucs offense did this game, and they'll get better. You got to have good special teams play, and they had that in the kick return. Devin Thompson had a nice kick return. Zion had a couple of great covers on punt return. So they did a hell of a job, and that's a big edge. Those are hidden yards. And they did a nice job with that. But for the Jets to win the game that way, it's bittersweet, obviously. And I know they're, of course, right away it's like Tom Brady come back for the Jets.
Tom Brady is not going to the New York Jets. If you thought that Bucs offensive line was porous, can you imagine him getting behind that New York Jets offensive line? And then on top of it, he's a minority owner for the Raiders. He would have to sell. And then also you would have to go through some type of vote. There's no way that he's going to the Jets. Forget
it's
it.
not happening.
Get it out of your mind.
Much as the league would love it,
Sure. Yeah.
No, I hate to tell you, but Zach's your quarterback for the rest of the year.
Zach Wilson.
He got a couple of nice plays last night. One bonehead pick, but a couple of nice plays. He seemed like he's a little bit more mature. But he ain't Aaron Rodgers. I don't. But well, you never know in this crazy freaking league, right? You never know in this crazy freaking league. They've got some good players around them. They ain't gonna quit. They got the whole schedule left. But I just find it, especially when it involves the Jets and it involves New York, that all of this hype comes down to 4 plays. 4 plays, and he's done. Somehow the Jets effed it up. There'd be just bad karma or whatever. Scott Valdez saying, the refs missed a blatant leg whip on that punt return. Yeah, I saw that. What a piss poor effort by the punter too. Did you see him trying to tackle like that? That was a piss poor effort. You see some really bad efforts by kickers at times. That was a really bad effort.
It's a career decision, a business decision, if you will. It's almost like trying to tackle Derrick Henry. It's a business decision.
I don't want to do that.
No.
As James Ludeman saying, watch the video with Peyton Manning basically calling it before it happened too. I did not see that. I was not watching the Manning cast. So he called it.
Yeah. I got to get that. I want to find that somewhere.
Yeah, this one from Eric Hardnett. Wish we kept Jordan Whitehead. Yeah. 3 picks last night. He's a hell of a player. I mean, that's the thing with the salary cap, though, man. You can't keep them all.
Yeah.
You can't keep them all. But I think, it's not like he got a huge deal from the Jets. But we knew he was a player. We knew he was a player. It wasn't like the Bucs didn't want to keep him. But
it was the injury. It was the injury stuff. I mean, he couldn't stay healthy consistently, but when he could stay healthy, he was a guy that could knock your block off. He had a big turnover in the Green Bay game, the second half of that game with the interception. Because if you don't have that, then basically the offense does nothing in that second half. Jordan Whitehead puts them in a short position. They're able to score with Cam Brate. People forget that.
He was a hell of a player.
Yeah.
Hell of a player. Good draft pick. You wish we could have kept him. Maybe we should have done a little bit more to keep him. I don't know. But we got to pay Winfield now. Yeah, who, by the way, had a hell of a game as well. That's what I love about watching the All-22. You watch the game, you're like, wow, okay, this guy's playing well. Then you go back and watch the All-22, and you're like, wow, that he was everywhere he needed to be, and really played well. RJ Martin, good morning, guys. Baker won the angry run scepter. Pretty damn great. Get your weight up, little boy. Yeah, I saw that. What a great, when he on that 3rd and 2 at the end of the game, he puts his shoulder down and then comes up and tells whoever it was, I forget who it was, but get your weight up, boy. I love that. I love me some Baker Mayfield, man. Like I said yesterday, he's a great fit for this city. We like our blue collar people. We like our underdogs. This guy is, if you get past some of the media narratives from early on in his career, I've always liked Baker. I've never thought of him as a people like to lump him with Johnny Manziel. And I'm like, one was kind of a silver spoon kid. The other kid in Baker's, he's been overlooked and had to work for everything he's gotten.
Yeah.
And he was put in a crappy situation in Cleveland and still took him to a playoff win. And then they brought in Deshaun Watson because he tried to play with a separated shoulder, which he never should have done.
Agree.
I love where Baker's at. And we got some good audio, by the way, from some national pundits talking about Baker that we'll get to a little bit later on in the show.
Prediction. A lot of people out there would like to hear. Some people necessarily wouldn't like to hear. But you're exactly right. He gets lumped in with Johnny Manziel because of the actions off the field. But he was being a kid. Manziel was a guy who didn't even look at his playbook, you come to find out.
Exactly.
Baker cares about the game. You could see that on Sunday. He cares about the game. And that's why I continue to ask the question to Bucs fans out there. And of course, we got open phone lines is, have you changed your mindset on not only this Bucs team, but also Baker Mayfield?
Yeah. That's a great question. We should put that out in a Twitter poll form.
Yeah.
Did this week. And I tell you what, another thing, watching the All-22, slow start for Baker. But, the first throw to O'Keefe gets knocked down at the line. That's going to happen. He was open. That would have been a completion. The next one down the field on the boot to O'Keefe is a perfect throw. And O'Keefe stops running, does this turnaround thing that, O'Keefe's going to do because he's not a fluid receiver. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Chris Godwin was wide ass open on that play over the middle. If he catches it, he might score on that play if he goes to Chris. But so was Keefe was wide open as well. That's just one of those things that Baker. That's what you learn when you play with guys, right? It's like that's not a route that Keefe should be running. That's a Kate Otten route. So anyway, there should have been probably 4 or 5 plays that should have been positive and pass completions that weren't Baker's fault in the first half. And that offense would have looked completely different in the first half. But it is what it is. That's why you're rusty when you don't play in the preseason. And we saw that in the first half. So I wanted to get to Devin White because I thought he played a phenomenal game. And my little title of this monologue is Devin White got it right. It took a while for him to get there. We saw all the shenanigans in the offseason. And you got to understand, too, with young players, especially from LSU, they're surrounded by a lot of big money guys, right, that are in the NFL. There's a lot of big money guys. Justin Jefferson's getting his dough. There's tons of guys in this league that have come out of LSU that got money. Odell Beckham Jr., right? Just go down the list. And so you want to follow in the footsteps of all your boys, right? And they're all in your ear. They're all chirping in your ear. You got to get the bag, man. This is your time to get the bag. You played well. We know who you are, blah, blah, blah. Your agent's in your ear. They're disrespecting you, man. They're not paying you. They got to pay you. And there's all these guys are in your ear. And it takes a toll. And I think, he was listening to the wrong people. And you start listening. And not that those are bad people. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying that's what they're talking about. That's what they talk about in the offseason, right? And finally, he sat down and talked with people who really, really care about him, like Todd Bowles, right? Like Levante David, like Tom Brady, like guys that have been through the league that know what's up. Larry Foote, Derek Brooks, guys like that who really, sat him down and said, hey, man, listen, yes, you're a great player. Look at where the Bucs are with the salary cap right now. Now is not the time. They would love to do it. They love you. Todd Bowles loves you like a son. Okay, but now is not the time. And you need to be better. You need to be a better player. You need to study harder. You need to play more focused. You need to slow it down and be in control and not try to make every big play. That's not how the great players play it as a linebacker. There has to be some controlled rage there. And at times, Devin White was just out of control and out of position. Now, I saw a play, and this is why I loved it early on in the game. It's a nothing play to most of you, but I think it was a second or third series where the Vikings do an away run action with Addison. It's like student body right. 9 times out of 10, Devin White is just gone. And he's following that back. That's not his man. His man was the offside back, number 30. And they ran a little back screen. And this was all set up to get Devin White. Because this is what we've seen over the last 4 years of him playing. Teams will come with 4 or 5 plays in the playback, usually in the red zone, where they take advantage of his over-aggressiveness, where he's going to leave his man, leave his responsibilities, and leave open on the backside for a big play. Devin didn't take the bait. He didn't take the bait. He didn't run across the field and try to do some knockout shot on the sweep. He sat home. He watched his man, and boy, they came back, threw the little check down, and who was there? Devin White planted his ass. And you could just, there were multiple times in the first half on the all 22 where you saw him be patient. Wait a second, now move and make your move. But when you also saw him shot out of a cannon when they wanted him to blitz, disguising it well, coming at the last moment and making a play. That the strip sack by Antoine Winfield, Devin was there at the same time. So he played so much better. He played so much more focused football, and it was fantastic. I'm telling you, folks, if Devin White continues to play like this, because he started kind of playing like this at the beginning of last year, and then he got out of control, wanted to make every big play, make every big splash play so he can make the money, right? You got to remember this. This is money related with Devin White. How do you make the big bucks? Splash plays. That's what gets you paid, right, in this league? Splash play. How many fumble recoveries? How many forced fumbles? How many interceptions? How many pick sixes? And you got to understand, he set the bar really high in that Super Bowl season, right? He set it really, really high. So he feels like in order for him to get paid to be that $20 million linebacker, he's got to make every splash play. But that's not how you play the game as a linebacker. You've got to be patient. You've got to cover your responsibilities, and you have to know that the organization is going to reward you for being a responsible player and not necessarily one that's going to rack up splash plays. And so I think when Todd Bowles sat down and had that conversation with him and all these other guys and said, look, this is how we need you to play. I still, it's one thing to have those conversations. It's another thing to see it in action. And that's what I loved, is he did it in this game. And he was a huge part of holding the Minnesota Vikings to 17 points. 17 points at 30-some yards, 41 yards rushing. A lot of that because of Devin White. 12 tackles. The numbers were great. But the impact was even greater. If you look at the film and study the film, it was even greater. So Devin White got it right. He, all the shenanigans in the offseason, I hated it. I said, you're going about this wrong. You're cutting your own throat. This is not the way to handle it. And, he, to his credit, he did his mea culpa before the season, and now he's backing it up with his play. So congratulations, Devin White. And I was one of the haters because I wanted you to do this. I wanted you to do what your coaches and the people that really, really love you and really, really care about you wanted you to do. And if you play like this, and I'm not a big fan of giving anybody $20 million, especially an inside linebacker. Not a big fan. But if you play like this, you're worth it.
He's playing with the chip on his shoulder. He really is. And you kind of see that with Baker Mayfield. You kind of see that with Mike Evans. And it's a good thing because they have something to prove. And you're exactly right. They're up for contract. So if they perform well, either the Bucs are going to take care of them or another team will take care of them. But
that's right. That's right. And that's what you want to see. That's a dominant performance. That's a guy that's just jumping off the screen and making your defense way better. And we know that he could be that guy, but he had to play discipline. He had to play in control. And now, look, this one game. He's got to keep it up. But this is going to make this defense so much better because it's not always – I know so many people get caught up in the numbers. And that's what one of the great things about looking at the All-22 and looking at the film. Baker Mayfield's numbers were not great. They weren't great. But, man, did he play game-winning play. He made so many big plays when you needed to make the play. 3rd and 2, terrible pass protection. He gets out of the pocket, puts his shoulder down, gets you a huge first down. I mean, come on. That's a game-winning play. 3rd and 10. He makes a great throw to Chris Godwin. That's a game-winning play.
Yeah, it is.
I may have frozen up there.
Well, I don't know what happened there, but the national media still not buying Mr. Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, play that audio. Set this audio.
Let's go out to Chris Broussard here and Nick Wright, and Broussard's prediction of what he thinks is going to happen here, Bucs fans, in Week 8, Week 9. Here we go.
Talk about the winner. All right. Chiefs lost the game. Here's Baker after the game.
Good test for us for our first match. So, we're going to grow. We're going to get better often. We'll take all the wins we can get. It's extremely hard in this league.
Oh, short soundbite. Bro, have you come around on Baker?
Come around on Baker. No, what I give him 7 weeks?
7 weeks.
Kyle Trask will be the starter in 7 to 8.
You still believe that? 9.
Yes.
No, 8 to 9.
Absolutely.
Now we're up to 9.
No,
we're
week
keep
8,
adding to
10
it.
to 12.
Week 8.
No, he will be the starter midway through the season. And look, you know what I did about a month and a half ago on vacation?
Wow,
I went golfing.
Here we go.
All right, in Martha's Vineyard, I went golfing.
Oh, nice.
And my first shot, coach,
Wow.
up in the air, 200 yards, which for me is good.
Yeah.
200 yards, right in the middle of the fairway, and I'm thinking, I got this.
Yeah.
Finally, I've got the hang of it. I have arrived.
Yeah.
And you know what? We only played 9 holes. About 50 strokes later, I realized, no, I'm still a bad golfer. All right? That's what this is, Nick. And you're jumping on the Baker Mayfield bandwagon.
No,
just like I jumped on my own bandwagon after that first shot.
Okay.
And then I came back to earth, and Baker Mayfield is going to come back to earth. This is what you're raving about? Scoring 20 points on the freaking Minnesota Vikings?
Well,
the team that was in the bottom 5 in points allowed last year.
We got a new defensive coordinator.
25 points a game they allowed last year.
Tampa.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Sorry.
They gave up. They were second worst pass defense in the league last year. 266 yards a game. And this graphic is going to knock your socks off.
Graphics.
Look at this. What do these quarterbacks have in common, Nick?
They threw for more yards than Baker Mayfield.
No, not just more. They threw each of those. Look at that motley crew.
Those quarterbacks.
Each one of them threw for 300 plus yards against this fight. 300 yards. Baker didn't even throw for half of that.
All right. So you're
raving us because he threw for 140 against the fight.
Because at least you're not flip-flopping per usual. However, 2 points. The first one is, I am starting to doubt the veracity of this golf analogy, because on Friday it was a great shot on the 18th hole, and now it's a great opening drive on a front 9. So I don't know if this is real or not. What I do know is real are text messages, and I'm going to do something. This might be against the law.
That is against the law.
Here's the first thing
Nick feel good.
Group text. Brew text me. Baker doing Baker things. I text back. What do you do? The Vikings just kicked the field goal. Brew, you might be an old person delay. Brew then texts 3 for 11, 12 yards.
That's what he was.
And then says Carr hasn't started his dark horse MVP push because he even bothers of this dark horse MVP stuff on the weekend. From that moment forward, let's see how Baker did. Let's see. Oh, that's
18 for 23, 161, 2 touchdowns. Not bad.
And I have had to listen to Brew talk about, we saw an improved Russell Wilson this weekend. Well, let's see how they did, at the most important time, second half yesterday. Looks like Baker played perfect football, up to and including a 5-minute drive to run out the clock, salvage the win, where he ran for a first and completed a 3rd and 10. And this whole, they scored 20 points. Well, the Tampa Bay Bucs last year, since you're so enamored with last year, played 18 games. 11 of which they couldn't score 20 points. And I think I remember who their quarterback was, a guy affectionately referred to as the former GOAT. And so all those things are to say, you're going to be wrong about Baker once again.
There you go.
Nick Wright, give it to him, babe. Give it to him.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Nick Wright on this one. Usually he's Nick wrong, but on this one, I'm a fan of it because
Broussard's wrong and Broussard's hating on him because
he knows basketball. That's what he's a basketball guy. Stick to basketball.
Yeah. Maybe they should bring, like Jamel Hill said, they should bring Colin Kaepernick back to save the Jets.
Shut up and dribble.
Oh my God, Colin! Really. By the way, has anybody asked Colin Kaepernick if he really wants to play? No, he doesn't. He didn't want to play. That's why he quit. He didn't want to play. Duh.
Right.
Oh my God. Anyway, All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we will chat with our good friend Scott Reynolds, who joins us each and every week from the Pewter Report, get his take on this Minnesota win, because he certainly had the Bucs winning. We had the Bucs winning. So we'll gloat a little bit on this one and tell you why we had the Bucs winning and why they won the football game and why they're going to beat the Bears on Sunday. Lots more coming here your way right here. The Jeeves Law Group presents our first hour along with Bay Area Modern Medical Center. So go to their websites, JEEVES lawgroup.com and, of course, BAMMC.com, and give them a visit. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
So you're experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had. It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Super Tuesday. Bucs get a big win and now get to welcome in the Chicago Bears, who look like crap in week 1 against the Packers. So cannot wait to see the home opener and all the fanfare there. So let's welcome in our good friend Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report, who also called the Bucs win, as we did here at the JP Peterson Show. What's up, Scotty? How are you, my friend?
Doing good. 1-0. Good way to start the season. Not just the Buccaneers, but my predictions as well. So
of course,
it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you. I heard the podcast. You had the under and the Bucks as we did. So hopefully people are cashing their checks as we speak. Just your overall thoughts on what you saw. Why you thought the Bucks were going to win and what you saw that made it all come true.
I thought the Bucks were going to win because I thought the Minnesota Vikings were honestly overrated, to be perfectly candid with you. 13-4 last year reminded me of the 2010 Buccaneers, that 10-6 record. It was inflated by a bunch of last-minute wins. I think there were 5 of them that year against really bad football teams.
Yeah, bad quarterbacks. A lot of bad quarterbacks.
Yeah. The Seahawks were bad that year. Yeah. The Cardinals were bad. The Browns, they're not the Seahawks, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Browns, the Bengals. Those were all last-minute wins against bad teams that puffed up this record. The Bucs were 10-6. And I think next year, the year after, they were 4-12. That was more indicative of the type of team they had. So you look at the fact that the Vikings, they had the greatest comeback in NFL history, being down, 30-some points or 28, whatever it was, to the Indianapolis Colts, which was a really bad football team. And they lost at home to the Giants in the first round. So I just thought, I just not believers in the Vikings. And I thought this is going to be an evenly matched game. I think all the disrespect, the Buccaneers have bought into that. They've circled the wagons. They had something to prove. And, and then it started off rough. Not surprised by that. But this is going to be a Bucs team that is a work in progress all season long. But the key word is progress. And the progress we saw this team make in game from the first quarter to the fourth quarter was tremendous. I thought Todd Bowles and Dave Canales made the right second half adjustments. They literally beat the Vikings on both sides of the ball, and they outscored them 10-7 in the second half, and they won the game.
Yeah, and there's a couple things I want to dive in on, and you touched on Todd Bowles. And, we've had this conversation in the offseason. You're like me. I love Todd Bowles as a human being. No one's rooting more for him to succeed than you and I are, and many we love, but we're also objective. And what we've seen from him is not good. What we saw from him last year was not good. And I've kind of done a little bit more of a mea culpa on, his responsibility for last year. I thought he should have been more declarative with the offensive coordinator. I thought he should have held people more accountable. But the more and more I look at last year, the more and more dysfunction it was, the more and more I put on, frankly, Tom Brady than anybody else. He's the one who started the whole coaching change, and they had to do all this stuff in the offseason that you don't normally do. So I want to see, what are you going to do this year, Todd? He has been more assertive. His choice of Dave Canales as the OC, I thought was inspired and a bit of a risk. But he has been, and then the way he called this game, the 57-yard field goal, the 4th and 1, the adjustments in the second half. Hats off to Todd Bowles. Hell of a job. He should get a game ball like everybody else that deserved it.
Yeah. Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, we know is good, right? I mean, you look at last year, they won 8 games. In 7 of those games, they held opponents to 21 points or less. Matter of fact, the Buccaneers as a whole were 7-3 in the 10 games in which Todd Bowles' defense held opponents to 21 points or less. That should be enough to win games, right? Look at Sunday. They held 17 points. They won. So when you have the defense doing its job in 7 out of the 8 wins from last year, that tells me that Todd Bowles is not the problem as the defensive play caller. However, the game management, look no further than that Cleveland Browns overtime loss, a game they should have won. Not easily, but should have won in regulation. Shouldn't have had to go to overtime. He has a lot to learn as far as game day situations, when to go for it, when to be a little bold, when to be conservative. He pressed all the right buttons on Sunday. Everything he did, from the 4th and 1 quarterback sneak to the, we have a kicker who can make 57-yard field goals. We're going to go in that direction. And I trust my defense with stopping the Vikings and getting the ball back for our offense. And we're not going to run the ball and be conservative on 3rd and 10 and milk the clock and give Kirk Cousins a chance. Nope, we're going to go for the throat, try to get the first down. And I like the growth that I've seen. He seems freer this year. It's his staff from start to finish. No inherited staff. It's his roster from start to finish. He actually got to contribute in free agency. Free agency was was done by the time he was named head coach last year. So this is his team. He's put a stamp on it. He feels comfortable. He's coaching freer, and we'll see what happens. But good start.
Scott, were you surprised by that 4th down decision? I mean, 4th and 1. A lot of Bucs fans didn't necessarily like it, whether you get it or not. I mean, what did you think of the decision? 4th and 1 on your own 32.
You got to get a yard. If you can't get a yard, you deserve to lose. So why not lose right there? Then at the end of the game. So I loved it. If you want to send a message to your offensive line, hey, I believe in you. I believe in you at our own 32-yard line. Like, get this effing yard is what that message was. And so, as a defensive-minded coach, right, and a defensive play caller, it's important for those offensive players, for Baker Mayfield to know my coach, even though he's not the guy on my headset, it's Dave Canales on my headset, my head coach has got my back. And it's setting the tone that we're going to get yards. We're not going to sit here and be like last year where we can't get a yard. It's going to change right now. And then at the same time, by doing that, he's telling his defense, hey, I'm trusting you guys.
Yeah.
If this doesn't work out, you got to have my back, because all of a sudden, boom, they're in field goal range. And by God, we got to either push him out of field goal range or we got to hold him to a field goal right here. So it was a very important message that he sent to his team, not just for this game, but to set the tempo for the season. And I thought it was a bold move. And if you can't get half a yard, then, I mean, I don't want to say the season's over, but it's like, what are we doing?
Right. It's like a turnover right there. And to get half a yard, if you can't get that, and I totally agree with you. And I think last year's Todd Bowles would have kicked it there. I think last year's would have punted instead of a 57.
You're right. And the reason why is because he didn't trust Byron Leftwich. He didn't trust Byron to make the right call. And he trusts Dave Canales. The one thing I'll say about Dave Canales is I want to give Todd Bowles credit for Dave Canales, but I know for a fact Dave Canales was not their first choice. Dave Canales was the first guy who said yes. Okay? Seriously. And I've had a conversation with Todd Bowles about it, and sometimes the first choice is not always the right choice. Go back to 1996. Yeah. The Bucs' first choice for a head coach was Jimmy Johnson. He said no. The second choice was Steve Spurrier. He said no. The first guy to say yes was Tony Dungy. He ended up being the right choice. But the thing I like about Todd Bowles' decision to go with Dave Canales and offer him the job and allow him to say yes and take the opportunity, because he's not afraid of Todd Bowles getting fired, is the fact that this offense, even though they beat the Seahawks last year, it's rooted in teams that have given Todd Bowles defense fits. The 49ers, the Rams, right? Yeah. And so why not get an offense that has given your really good defense a challenge? Because maybe that's going to be a challenge for other teams. And I think it will as this offense progresses and clicks and gets better. It's going to become pretty formidable.
Scott Reynolds, Peter Report, joining us here. My monologue today was on Devin White. Got it right.
Yep.
A lot of shenanigans in the offseason. You and I basically were on the same page as far as what he should do.
Yeah.
And he listened to Todd Bowles. He listened to Derek Brooks. He listened to guys that really, really care about him.
Right.
And that the performance. And I know you look at the all 22 like I do. And I saw that play this morning where the run action went away. I think it was the second series. And instead of him going across the field like he normally was, he stayed home with his man.
Yep.
They threw it back to the running back. That was his man. And I don't know if it was incomplete or dirted it, but he was there. He made the play. And that to me was like, that's what you got to do. Be responsible. Be the guy, fulfill your role, do your job, and don't
trust your teammates.
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to be the hero. You're going to be the hero, right? But you have to understand, you're part of the Avengers, right?
Right.
Captain America doesn't have to beat every bad guy. Captain America has to beat his bad guy.
Right.
Iron Man's going to take care of his. Hulk's going to take care of his, right? That's what he has to understand. And it's assignment sound football. And I wrote about that, and I think he's off to a great start. Now, the biggest thing is consistency. Can he do it against the Bears? Can he do it against the Eagles? Right? And then you need to see some splash plays too. You need to see him get home and get some sacks. You need to see him create some takeaways. Antoine Winfield, right? As great as Devin White played, Antoine Winfield made 2 touchdown saving tackles against Justin Jefferson. And Todd Bowles, give him an A+ for moving Antoine Winfield back to that free safety, that single high safety in cover 3, even though they had to get out of cover 3 because Justin Jefferson was eating it up with those passing lanes. But as you always look at the splash plays, right? The sack, fumble recovery. That's a money play. It gave the Bucs 3 points. But I'm telling you, it's the points that he saved by being a sure tackler. There is not a more sure tackler on that team. And I would even put Antoine Winfield above a 33-year-old Levante David right now. The Levante in his prime, I'm giving it to him. Antoine can cover ground faster. He's just a faster player in his youth. So Winfield's the best tackler on this team. He is the true epitome of safety. He is the last line of defense between the guy with the ball and the end zone. And he saved 2 touchdowns on those 2 Justin Jefferson tackles, and that should be commended.
Scott, what's your thoughts on the Mike Evans situation? 5 catches for 56 yards. Could have had more, had a couple of drops in this game. But a lot of fans right now kind of up in arms about, the way the Bucs have approached this situation. How do you see it?
Oh, boy. Do we have 20 minutes?
Sure. Go right ahead.
There's a part of me that I think Mike deserves to retire as a Buccaneer. He's meant that much to the franchise. I'm sentimental because I've covered every minute of Mike Evans' career, and I know what he's meant to this team and what he means to this fan base. Setting that aside and looking at it, if you want to be $25 million man, you have to play like a $25 million receiver. And if I'm being honest, Mike Evans played like a $16.5 million receiver on Sunday. He dropped an easy slant that should have been a walk-in touchdown. The DB fell down. You have to make that acrobatic highlight down the field catch in a one-on-one situation against Mekhi Blackman. You have to. Those are $25 million catches. And if you want the money, you have to be dynamic. You have to be a top 5 receiver. And he wasn't a top 5 receiver on Sunday. He was good enough. He was Mike Evans, but this team needs more from Mike Evans. Now, I will say this, and this is not any inside information here. It's just informed opinion. I don't see the Glazers paying 2 receivers $20 million or more. Right now, there's only one team in the league that is paying 2 receivers $20 million or more. It is the LA Chargers. And that's because Keenan Allen gets $20 million and $25,000.
Right.
Okay. And Mike Williams gets $20 million. So the only difference between those 2 guys is $25,000 more, not $250,000, $25,000 more to Keenan Allen. So you got Chris Godwin at $20 million right now for this year and for next year. And if you're going to pay Mike Evans $25 million, right? That's the highest paid duo in Tampa Bay and in the league as a whole. I don't see the Glazers doing that. Keep in mind too, what's more important, locking up Tristan Wirfs, your 24-year-old Pro Bowl All-Pro left tackle, Antoine Winfield, as much as Todd Bowles loves Mike Evans, I think he loves Devin White more. He's the engine of his defense. I don't know. And then if you extend Mike, you can't extend Chris. Chris is 2-3 years younger than Mike. So this team can't keep both of them. And I think that's how I'm reading the tea leaves right now, is one of these guys is going to have to go. And
or take a discount.
Or take a huge discount. And I think this team, the Glazers, Jason Light, Mike Greenberg, Todd Bowles, they want to see how this season plays out in this offense. And I think the Glazers, more importantly, want to see, is this team on the way up or is this team on the way down? Because if it's on the way down, that's not an investment we want to make, because there's probably going to be a new coach coming in and we'll let him make that decision, not Todd Bowles. But if it's on the way up, then the Glazers have to say, all right, how far up are we going? Are we back to the Super Bowl? Is Baker Mayfield having a career resurgence here and is it face of the franchise? Oh, and if that's the case, we're going to pay Baker Mayfield $25 million.
Exactly. And that's one of the things about this is that we're not talking about is timing. Timing is not right this year now, because we don't know if this goes south and you draft the quarterback, okay, now you got a quarterback on a rookie contract.
Correct.
So now you might be able to pay Mike a little bit more. But if Baker, becomes Geno Smith and you got to pay him 25, 30 million, now you definitely can't pay Mike Evans.
That's right.
You're going to have to go draft a receiver to replace him. And that's just it's the shitty part of the game. It's the shitty part of the business. It's the same thing with Chris Jones. It's been the same thing with all these great holdouts. I mean, Saquon Barkley and Eckler, it's not like the teams don't want them.
Right.
It's just like it's the business of the game.
Yeah.
And you got to set aside the sentimental part of it.
Right.
As great as Mike is in the community, as fantastic as he is, and there are none better.
Right.
You can't pay 34-year-old receivers $25 million a year. Yeah. It just doesn't work out. 39-year-old quarterbacks.
I agree.
$50 million a year. Look where the Jets are now. They got to pay Aaron Rodgers for 2 more years.
Yeah.
At $50 million a pop.
Yeah.
He may not play another down.
Here's the saving grace in all of this. The Glazers have watched what Mike Greenberg and Jason Light have done over the past couple seasons. This team let Carlton Davis test free agency. And Carlton didn't get as much as he thought he was going to get. And he actually re-signed with the Buccaneers for cheaper than what it was perceived he was going to get.
Yeah.
Same thing with we were saying goodbye, Levante. We love you, but you're not coming back, man. And he came back for $4.5 million. Okay, which was way below the $12.5 million he was making the year prior. Same with Jamel Dean. We were like, all right, well, Dean's going to get paid this free agency trip here. He didn't. He got re-signed for less than Carlton Davis, even though he's the higher graded Pro Football Focus corner over Carlton Davis.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, maybe the Glazers and because they're the ones calling the shot here, right? This is a Glazer decision. You're talking this much money. This is a Glazer decision. Maybe they're saying, hey, Jason and Mike, let's see if we can do this again with Mike. Let's see what his real market value is. Because the entire league has him underrated, right?
Yeah, that's right.
He's not in the top 10. Okay, well, let's see. Maybe we get Mike back for $18 million. And then it's a different financial situation for us, right?
Exactly. If Mike, and this is part of it, if Mike wants to be a Buck for the rest of his career, there's going to be some onus on him to read the tea leaves. And playing for $15 or $16 million guaranteed over the next 3 years ain't so shabby.
Right.
As old as he is. It's not the worst thing in the world. And it's probably more where his market value is.
How many teams are going to be in the market for a $25 million receiver next year? Probably no more than a handful. So all you're competing with is 5, right? And then do you want to pay a guy that's going to be 31 next August to start his career in a new city? Is some team going to look at Mike and say, he's the difference maker? We're going to pay the 31-year-old Mike Evans $25 million, right? Or $23 million, whatever the number is. I don't know that there's going to be a lot. That 5 probably goes down to 2 or 3. And then it's, Mike, do you really want to play for this crappy franchise that has all of this money with this young quarterback who hasn't really, Chicago, right? Do you want to go play with Justin Fields, right? Is this going to be the market you want to be in Chicago? Or you want to come back to Tampa? I'm telling you, the story is not written yet. It's not like he's gone, but I don't think he's going to get the money he wants here in Tampa.
But I think in the end, when we're going to see it'll be a lot like Carlton and Jamel. I think he'll see what his market value is and want to stay here and want to stay.
I agree.
And that's just fine. All right, before you go,
what the Bucs are banking on.
Exactly. And you know what? And then everybody's happy. That's about where his market value is, and he's already made a ton of money in this league. So let's go.
You can't be unhappy if you hit free agency and nobody wants you for the price that you want.
Right.
But the team that you want to play for is willing to pay X, and that seems to be your market value. Then all of a sudden the blood stops boiling, and reality sets in and says, okay, well, I'm worth, 18 million, or I'm worth 20, or whatever the number ends up being.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I like it. All right. Before you get out of here, give me a Baker Mayfield take on, again, watching the tape, I saw, a couple of throws that were perfect. The one to Ko Keith down, the second one was a perfect throw. Ko Keith
Slant to Mike.
He wanted to slant him, wanted to stop and turn around. Just keep running, bro. Put your hands out. It's going to fall right in your hands. So the numbers could have looked a lot better, but the game-changing plays, the plays he had to have, the sneak, the 3rd and 2, the 3rd and 10, the touchdown to
Trey Palmer.
Trey Palmer was a little sidearm throw. Yep. I thought he played phenomenal winning football. His rating was 94. He was tremendous. Your thoughts?
His worst play was backing into the sack.
Yes.
That was it. They showed 6, and the Vikings on those 3rd down situations, they either like bring 8 or they drop 8, right? And it was like it's either full on or they're dropping everybody. And they fooled Baker on that 3rd and 5. Yeah. They got bailed out because of the offsides on the field goal attempt, right? So they ended up getting the touchdown. But if there's one complaint about Baker, it's sometimes the pocket awareness. Right. And where he'll walk himself into sacks. And I know everyone wants to, fire Luke Gedeke. Luke Gedeke actually had a really good game. If you go back and look at the tape, he had a really good game. The sack he gave up to Daniel Hunter was actually Mayfield's fault. He actually backed into the sack. He had an escape route to the right, didn't take it. Grit, toughness, badass mentality, leader, caught fire. I mean, those are the words that come to mind when I think about Baker Mayfield's performance. He didn't get rattled. Nope. No first downs. Like they were 0 for 5 on first downs. He wasn't getting pissed. He wasn't throwing the helmet. It was next play. It was maturity. It was exactly what this team needed. Yes. And I loved it. If you weren't a Baker Mayfield believer before, I think he won you over on Sunday, right? The stiff arm, right? It's in a lot of ways he's the anti Tom Brady, and I love Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. I'm not going to disparage Tom Brady, but Tom kind of has that pretty boy mentality, and I want him to take the sack. I'm gonna throw it in the dirt, and that's fine. It worked. It got this team a Super Bowl and 13 wins, and it worked. But this can also work. And there's something about Tampa, a town that has always loved its defense more than the offense. It's gritty. It's blue collar. It's him. It's tough. That's him. Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing. First day of training camp, I go back to this. In the calisthenics line, right? It's red jerseys on one side. This is all like the entire field, 53 yards across. They're all doing like, calf raises and high knees and all that stuff, doing the calisthenics line. Red over here. This is all the defensive players. White jerseys over here. It's all the offensive players. And Baker Mayfield, sticks himself right in between Vita Vea and Logan Hall. And that's your quarterback. He's not with the offensive guys. No. He's with the defensive guys doing calisthenics. You know who else paid attention to that and joined him? Rashad White, who needs to take a big step this week. Be more urgent with his runs. Yes. Show a greater sense of urgency, more acceleration. No hesitation, and I think he's going to be better this week as well. But
needs to be.
Baker Mayfield, by doing that, ingratiates himself to the entire team, not just the offense, the entire team. That's a leader, man. And he showed great leadership in staying calm, staying the course, being a little bit of a badass out there. And I think if you're a Buccaneer fan and you were on the ledge about Baker Mayfield,
come on.
If you don't like Baker Mayfield now, you're just being stubborn.
That's a you problem.
That's a you problem.
I said yesterday, I said, you don't like Baker, that's a you problem. Yeah. All right, Scott, great stuff. Tell everybody about the great content coming up at Pewter Report and what's going on this week there.
Got a Pewter Report roundtable coming up. Just dropped my 2-point conversion column last night. That's my post-game column where I have 2 big statements, 2 bold predictions, 2 probing questions. So check that out on pewterreport.com. You can follow us on social media, Twitter, X, I guess it's called X now, Facebook, Instagram, at Pewter Report, and our Pewter Report podcast. We do them live at 4 o'clock on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Then our pregame and postgame podcast as well. That's on Pewter Report TV. That's our YouTube channel. So check that out. We appreciate you guys subscribing. We're almost at 12,000 subscribers. Thanks to you, Pewter people. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. Great job, Scotty. Thanks for joining us, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Got lots more coming your way. TJ Reeves, Bucs sideline guy, is going to join us for our next segment. At 11:30, we're going to talk about the Rays and the stadium situation. Big article this past weekend. I'll take you through some of my thoughts on that. So lots to get to. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. If you have been in an accident and you need an attorney, get an aggressive one. That's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves will take care of you. If your car has been totaled and you did not get the settlement you thought you should get, the Jeeves Law Group will handle that. Find out if you have a case. Just give them a call. It's a free call. Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Contact them through the website. Back in 3 with TJ. Stay with us.
Coins sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We thank you guys so much for joining us. We had a lot of folks come say hello to us yesterday at the patio for our Monday Night Football gig, which we'll be doing each and every Monday night. So we'll be doing 2 shows on Monday, a Monday morning show and a Monday evening show at the patio. So a lot of fun to see the folks out there. So come by and see us. We'll be out there 5 to 7 next week. I don't even know what the Monday night game is. Whatever. We'll figure it out. And,
yeah, it's not a good one. I heard it's not really a good one.
Well, it wouldn't be like we had lots of fun with the Bills Mafia people.
Yeah, we did.
Those freaking met this one girl came over and wanted the table we were sitting at. And I was like, okay, if you can show me a video of you doing a table dive, you can have the table. She's like, oh, yeah, no problem. She whips it out, and there she is jumping off a car onto a table. I'm like, okay, you got the table.
I told you, wrestling fans. They're wrestling fans.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Definitely.
All right. On that note, let's bring in our good friend TJ Reeves, Bucks sideline guy. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Hey, I think I got my hearing back about 15 minutes ago.
Oh.
It's good to be with you. It was definitely loud in Minnesota, like we talked about. By the way, I'm here at your service. Monday night doubleheader next Monday night. Double the fun with Peter and JP. This is the Monday night doubleheader that they're doing in week 2 this year. Saints at Carolina, Browns at Steelers, and the games are staggered about an hour apart. Saints, Carolina next Monday night a little after 7, and Browns and Steelers a little after 8. Both in the Eastern time zone. So you get a doubleheader next week. And then in 2 weeks, the Monday night game is who? The Buccaneers, go Bucks, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Might be a little interest in that game.
Heard of them.
Just a little bit.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But
Buccaneers.
Go Bucks.
So we were saying, hey, 2-2 at the bye. I'm thrilled, because I thought the Bucks offense would take a little while to get going. Tough schedule, tough slate early on. Now I'm getting greedy. After this one, I'm like, we got it. Should beat the Bears. The Bears looked awful, but it's the NFL. Anything can happen, right? Then you got the Eagles coming in. The Eagles didn't impress me that much against the Patriots. The offense was stagnant, but Jalen Hurts didn't play in the preseason. And then the Saints, I'm just getting a little greedy here.
Don't get too greedy. Let's go one at a time. The joke that I had on the Nothing But Bucks podcast is much like JP's golf game. You can't birdie them all unless you birdie the first.
You can't double bogey them all.
You can't win them all until you win the first. So you won the first game, and everybody's hyped up. And honestly, I would be sitting here with you had they lost this game and be saying to you, it is a single game. Right. What does this team look like in October? What does this team look like 6th game, 7th game, 8th game? Do they look like an offense that's progressing? Do they look like a defense that's still creating turnovers? How about that? 3 turnovers created in the first half. In this game, you finished +3 in the turnover margin. So you saw some really good signs. And my God, I know I'm joking. It was loud, and not just loud naturally from the crowd. We theorized last week on FanStream JP right here. They love to have the PA turned up, the music turned up.
Yeah.
That is as loud as I can ever remember an indoor setting because the music was so stinking loud. And I was rewatching on CBS just a little while ago, my guy Tiki Barber and Matt Ryan both making comments about, my God, it is loud in here on 3rd down with the music and the artificial stuff they're doing with it.
That's
and the
not legal though, right? They
well,
got busted for that.
They can do it. Provided that they turn it off with 20 on the play clock. As long as it's turned off by 20 on the play clock where people can hear and check at the line of scrimmage to an extent, besides the crowd.
Right.
But I can't emphasize to you enough that I'm having trouble hearing our game broadcast with headphones, earbuds in my ears.
Yeah.
That's how loud it was. The point is the Buccaneers overcame that. Shut them up. Went on the long touchdown drive to start the second half and got the lead. And when it mattered the most, kicked the field goal. What a great kick to take the lead. They silenced the crowd. That's the best way to do it. That's the best feeling in the world, to be kneeling on the ball on the road, and they're filing out in silence as they were in Minnesota Sunday.
Guys, we got some breaking news here.
It's
become a thing here with TJ Reeves when he's on
the
right? We had Wanda Franco. We had Baker Mayfield. Now, according to Ian Rappaport, Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers does, in fact, have a torn Achilles. The MRI has confirmed he's out for the season after just 4 snaps.
Horrific to watch that last night and 4 plays in. And I will tell you what my first thought was, guys, and I'm sure you were thinking something similar at some point. Maybe it was your first thought. Is how amazing is it that Tom Brady played at 43 years of age, then at 44, 45, the next 2 seasons. But at 43 years of age, he played the entire season, every game, and basically wasn't getting hit. Some of that by design, get the ball out of your hand quickly. But I mean, it's amazing that Aaron Rodgers lasted 4 plays. It's incredible that that's it. And we got Brady for an entire year, 4 postseason games and a Super Bowl, largely because that line kept him upright. and he got the ball out of his hand. He never got hit, guys, in that year. You remember this.
Yeah.
It was a big difference.
Incredible. Yeah, never got hit, and that's why I think one of these days you're going to do a 30 for 30 for that year where he goes to the Bucs, because not only does it validate the fact that he did it without Belichick, but he did it in a new offense. He did it in a pandemic, and he did it at what? 43 years old and didn't get hurt not one time. And actually, he was hurt, gentlemen, because you remember he did have a knee injury. He did go through an MCL.
little knee thing that was going on that year. But you feel horrible for the Jets. Hope everybody, I'm somewhat jokingly trying to make them laugh. You at least got to see him on Hard Knocks for 5 weeks, because other than that, you aren't seeing him the rest of the year, except like on the Pat McAfee show after surgery. It's terrible for them, but welcome to the NFL. This is why we keep saying, to bring it back to this team, you got to stay healthy. You got to stay healthy at quarterback, at your bigger positions, because there are no guarantees here as you go along on injuries. And there is the Jets season almost up in smoke on the opening night.
Yeah, it's as I said yesterday on the show when Peter asked me about the Jets, I'm like, it looks great. Everything looks great, but they'll find a way to F it up because they're the Jets. They'll find a way. You know what's interesting, and I mentioned this in the first part, David Bakhtiari tweeted out right after that, is like, when are we going to get rid of these artificial fields? And you played on one, you broadcasted on one this past weekend, and he made the point, they're ripping them all up for the World Cup. Why can't we do it for the safety of our players? So I haven't been to some of these places. I haven't been to New Minnesota, but I've been down on these artificial turf fields, and to say they're a little bit more grabby is an understatement. And it speeds up the game. I get it. It's cheap, all that stuff, but there's a price to be paid for it. I don't have the analytics on it. I don't have, the legal say it's not any more than the grass fields. My eye tells me something different.
Well, and reminder on the MetLife Stadium, that is new turf this year. Because they had worn it out.
Real sticky.
And so that's going to lead to all of this about, did it contribute to his ACL tear? Now, in that instance, we're not orthopedists. We're just playing them on FanStream JP.
Exactly.
He's got a guy falling on him. It's not a non-contact injury where he plants, Aaron Rodgers we're talking about, where he plants to go one direction or plants to throw the ball, and then it pops. This is a guy falling on him, but clearly as they zoom in, you can see the position his foot and his heel is in with that weight. In part of it may be your point that's the cleat grabbing into that turf. It's different. It's definitely different than natural grass. And here we go back to the expense of what does the NFL want to do? I mean, like, for example, in Arizona, it's an indoor stadium. They do have the retractable roof, but they largely play with that roof closed, and it's natural grass. They throw it outside.
They wheel it in and out.
Wheel it in. That's exactly right. Now, for most of them, like the Superdome that we're coming to, that thing is like spongy concrete in the Superdome. On that field turf. Atlanta, the same thing with Mercedes-Benz Stadium now. And remember the old Georgia Dome, you were in there so many times, JP. That was the old artificial turf and like concrete, same thing with the Superdome. So at least you've kind of progressed with the field turf. But there are people complaining that the field turf is a growing problem with all the soft tissue injuries, possible ACL injury, your Achilles, those kind of things. And maybe the NFL, the multi-billion-dollar organization's got to take a stronger look at. We're going all natural grass, even if we grow the grass and replace the fields every few weeks all over the NFL. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, so back to the Bucs. Because I love getting your thoughts on this, because you as you walk up and down the field, you go behind the bench, you can get a sense for what the guys are talking about. I'm not asking you what they said. That's privilege. We know that. But you get a feel for the vibe on the sideline and the vibe with Baker Mayfield and how this team responds to him. Because it really seemed like, as I said on Monday, this was all about team. This was a team win. And I'm not here to disparage Tom Brady, but you've heard it from the players as I have. They want to prove that it wasn't just about Tom, that these guys can play too. Did you get a little feel of that vibe from the team?
Well, you saw struggles early, so now you're grasping at, can we get a first down? I mean, you had 3 possessions in a row, late first quarter and in the second quarter, where you got 8 yards. 9 plays, you got 8 yards. So it was a struggle over there. There was frustration early on, got to get on the same page, and then it finally did click. And I saw, again, one game. I saw togetherness. I saw the sideline erupt. When they got the touchdown to Evans, it changed the whole dynamic, the whole attitude, because the defense is like, finally, we've been giving you the ball over and over again. Do something with the ball. And remember, first-year play caller. I'm not going to make excuses for him. This is his first time doing this. And you got things you want to put in that you're trying to set up for later. And, okay, take that page and rip it out of the playbook. We're not running that one again, whatever it is. It happened a couple times. Yeah. I mean, they ran that wide handoff to Rashad White on 3rd and long. I know you're being conservative deep on your own territory. That was almost like in slow motion. And I'm thinking, man, take that play and light it on fire and get rid of it. Don't run that again. Just some trial and error, but it finally locked in late in the first half. Then they make the adjustments, guys, as you know, and you've been talking about, and you go on a 16-play drive right out of the locker room to go get a touchdown. So things really settled down from that point. And I agree with you. I think there is some mentality from some of these guys that, hey, we want to demonstrate that this team was much more than Tom Brady the last couple of years. You still have talented players that can go make plays. It's not a disrespectful thing.
No.
I think it's more of a professional pride thing. I can play. Let me show you that even with Baker Mayfield, or if it comes to Kyle Trask, I can catch the football, or we can block, or we can run the football with Rashad White. Remember, Leonard Fournette's not here anymore. Right. So we're going to run the ball with Rashad White. We're going to demonstrate what we can do. I think there is some professional pride in that. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest key to it. I think that you have players on this team right now, TJ, that are playing with the chip on their shoulder, namely Baker Mayfield. I mean, give us the view there when he's going for the 3rd down conversion, where he's basically, putting his head down and going for it. I mean,
to your point, they were coming right at me on the angle. I'm sideline to the right of the Buck bench, TV left, and he's coming right at me with people breathing right down at him. And he knew where the yard marker was, and he knew to stay in bounds, veteran move, and he took a shot going to the ground. The guy grabbed him around the head the whole bit, and he got up and had a little spice right back at the Viking, which you like.
Get your weight up, boy.
And then point to the scoreboard, and we're now going to kneel on the ball coming up when he got it to Chris Godwin. But, yeah, I loved the competitiveness. There is no one questioning whether Mayfield is tough and a competitor. There is no doubt about that. So get ready here, because that's going to continue to benefit the Buccaneers, that he's a competitor. He wants to battle. And you saw him get the ball to the playmakers, to Evans and Godwin primarily. That was the biggest difference in the turnaround. Go get the ball in the hands of those guys, because they're going to make a lot of quarterbacks look good. I cannot emphasize to you enough, Chris Godwin looked explosive at field level. You saw the great catch at the end of the game. I think it is fair to say right now, knock on wood, I'm knocking on the wood around me here, that he seems to be back to full health finally, year 2. Yeah. I know you guys have been talking about that, and that is good for the Buccaneers, and that's bad for the regular opponents of the Buccaneers, like in the division, that he appears to be back, because that is a full complementary football player. He is a complete player. He blocks. He's physical over the middle. Love what Chris Godwin can do. Love what that
the catch. Yeah, last year he couldn't make guys miss the way he did in the years prior, running through tackles and making guys miss. This year that's back, and that's a huge part of his game. Huge part of his game. Now, we've been talking a lot about the offense, but it's the defense that won this game. Ain't no doubt about it. 3 turnovers, and man, when I turned on the All-22 today, I couldn't get enough of just the speed, the relentlessness, the pursuit of this defense. This defense is fast and it is physical, and I think much more so than even last year. I don't know. I think, it's Logan Hall growing up. It's JTS growing up. It's Devin White being inspired, no question. It's Antoine Winfield back in his particular spot. Anthony Nelson, I thought, played his ass off. Elijah Cansey, even for a couple of series, showed a little bit of burst. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on that tape from that defense. They were flying around. What did it look like from field level?
We kept talking about number 45 and Devin White, and we kept saying, and by the way, Peter Blake, I'm going to give a nod to you, 1 game in. Didn't we say MVP of the defense? And you said Devin White, because he's in a contract year situation. I think you did say that.
Yes,
it's 1 game, but 45 was everywhere, sideline to sideline, and he was better in pass coverage as well, which they need, and that's going to help things. Winfield looked fantastic. I mean, he made play after play, not just the sack fumble. He put a couple of hits on guys. He knocked the ball away later in the game. So they have playmakers. You're concerned for Elijah Cansey that he played some, and then my understanding is the calf tightened up a little bit, and they don't want to chance it. I don't know his availability for this week. I am one that's in the camp, go slow. If he needs, this is me saying this, if he needs to miss another game or so to make sure that you don't have a serious re-injury, then do it. When the trainers, when Bobby Slater and his staff and the orthopedists say to Todd Bowles and company, okay, he's well enough to go. He's 70, 80, 90%. He's well enough to go. He'll be in there. That was the concern. But yeah, he's explosive in the middle. I'm anxious to see what Yaya Diaby can do outside with JTS. Mm-hmm. You have young players on this defense, so be very encouraged. And it's going to be a long season. You're going to need these names that we're listing to make some plays. Carlton Davis, another name, locked up with Jefferson. I know Jefferson got free a couple of times across the middle, but Carlton Davis got him out of bounds on a third down one time. Carlton Davis later in the game on the big third down swats the ball away. Your guys were making plays. And that's what you needed on Sunday in Minnesota.
And a guy that made all kinds of plays, and I was not surprised by this because I told you, gentlemen, his dad was a former Minnesota Viking, Antoine Winfield Jr., who more than likely, not just out of this game, but previous games, earned himself an extension. Talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, he might be catching in. He ends up, again, making the sack fumble early on in the game, makes 2 or 3 other big plays. And look, I know the Vikings got loose and made some big plays in the secondary, and there was some confusion. It's a work in progress for Larry Foote, the co-defensive coordinator, along with Todd Bowles. They've got to work on some things. But by and large, the secondary was good in this game. For the most part, it was good. The hitting, Levante David, 12 years in the league, is all over the field, 5-7 yards beyond the line of scrimmage making hits, and then he even made a play in the backfield hitting Hawkinson, the tight end. He didn't look like a 34-year-old, did he? Nope. Levante David. So yeah, fountain of youth for Levante. And he even got up, guys. I was right down there on about the 5-yard line when he took that hit from Vita Vea. And my Lord, that's like being run over by an 18-wheeler at full speed. And he got up from that. The fact that he could get up from that and wasn't carried off is true. And then he's back in the game. A few minutes later, they checked him for the concussion, said, you don't have a concussion. What a gamer Levante David is. And you're going to need that guy and his leadership as you're going forward. This is just, again, it's a game, but to go on the road against a playoff team, that team won 11 games last year. That team is not 13. The Houston Texans. Well, what, 13?
11 one-score games.
11 one-score games. 13 games overall. That's not the Houston Texans. No. That's not the Arizona Cardinals or the Carolina Panthers that you beat on Sunday. No. You beat a really good team. It's a game, but there's a lot of encouragement from it.
How surprised were you by Justin Fields and the disappointing Chicago Bears? Because we've kind of touted it on my show, Harry the Greek, of course, and I was shocked by it. And I don't know what I was more shocked by, Justin Fields' performance with the Chicago Bears and that whole team, or Jordan Love and his progression as possibly one of the best young quarterbacks in this league.
Well, it's one game again, but they didn't look like they missed Aaron Rodgers that much, especially against Chicago. What have they beaten them now, 57 times in a row? I don't know. That's an unofficial stat. But Love was good. Justin Fields was not good. Justin Fields erratic from what I saw in that game throwing the ball. He runs some. And again, we're familiar with DJ Moore from Carolina. That's his primary target, but this again is very favorable for the Buccaneers. Now you got to put the work in and you got to go make plays Sunday. The score starts 0-0. You got to go make plays in that game, but this is very favorable against a Chicago team. I mean, they are getting blasted. You boys don't often come with both barrels on FanStream JP sometime. Chicago's got both barrels every show of every day part of the day, and they are destroying the Bears for how they looked against Green Bay on Sunday. Welcome to that town. Columnists that are calling for coaches to be fired already. Justin Fields, is he a bust after this game? Let's see what the Bears look like for this week. But you're right. I mean, Fields was shaky at that time at times in that game. He had turnovers too, which cost them in that game. And we'll see obviously both of those teams, Green Bay later in the year in December, to see what it looks like. But yeah, Chicago wasn't very good, obviously.
Anything else shock you or catch your eye this weekend in the NFL?
You come out with the New York Giants on Sunday night, and again, nothing is promised. What was that? I mean,
that was a bad start that snowballed on a wet, rainy New Jersey.
Yes, but I mean, you're leaving Daniel Jones out there in the fourth quarter at 40-0.
What was
Two
that?
different times he's out there at 40-0 in the fourth quarter. Are you? I don't know. Is that a punishment?
Punishment?
Exactly. Is it punishment because of how badly he played? I don't know. So you saw that. We once again were reminded for the 809th time what preseason football is worth. Hello, preseason champion Pittsburgh Steelers 3-0. Because now the game is for real, and they didn't have a first down. Talk about struggling on offense. They didn't have a first down till the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
At home.
They had 1 yard in 5 possessions.
So, again, there were some slow starts in these games. That was a bit surprising. Again, the Jets situation is blown up now with Aaron Rodgers injured. It's a long season.
Took care of the Panthers.
They looked good, but again, how much of that is Carolina being bad?
I think Carolina's bad.
We'll find out as we go along. But I mean, Atlanta's got weapons. And we'll see them here in about 3-4 weeks after the bye. We'll see the Atlanta Falcons with Bijan Robinson, the rookie, with Kyle Pitts, with Drake London. They've got some weapons. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And this is a fun week. It's the home opener. There'll be a lot of Bears fans here. We understand that.
Will. Yeah.
But it's going to be very interesting to see what the offense does in the first part of this game. Build on what we saw the last 3 quarters in Minnesota. Get the ball to the playmakers. And I know your guy Sean Tucker even flashed some of that game, JP. He looked good as well. And a lot of people are going, well, wait a minute, you didn't see Chase Edmonds very much. Keyshawn Vaughn is inactive. Look, you may have to go to both of those guys as the year goes on. You hope you don't, but because of injury or whatever, you got to have depth, and you may have to go to those guys. It's a long season. So let's see. But
I think the running game will be better. I think the running game will be better. They just didn't rip off any big runs at all. I mean, 6 yards was the biggest one, so the average looked really, really bad.
And one thing that you saw so much last year to pay attention to here moving forward, are you using motion? Are you using, crack back block with a guy coming in motion? There was not a lot with the run plays. Not a lot of disguise either early on in the game. It looked like you're lined up in a run formation and then you ran it. Again, you've got a first-year play caller who's got his script. He's trying to get into the rhythm of doing all of this.
But I like that they ran it 33 times. I like that they stayed committed because it kept Minnesota off the field. They ran it when they needed to. And, a couple of times in that long 16-play drive, they went 3 straight handoffs and got first downs. And that's debilitating. Even though you're not getting big chunks, 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 3 and 4 gets you 10.
I will tell you this. Math. Yeah, I love that. You talk about Rachaad White all the time. You've talked about him last year and this year, having patience and taking that extra step. We saw it 2 or 3 times Sunday where he would take the little hesitation 1 step, 1 second, half second, and then dart. Where's the hole? So that patience will pay off eventually. Listen to me talking like I'm some kind of great running back, but that will pay off on ripping a 30-yard run or more, 50-yard run, because suddenly there's a seam there. Just get that guy the ball in space. He is very talented, Rachaad White, catching it, running it, get it to him in space. A lot to like, Buccaneer fans, from one game. I mean, if the Bucs had been beaten like 27-10 on Sunday, everybody would have been fire Todd Bowles. Dave Canales is an awful hire. What a mistake with Baker Mayfield. So now we bring it back 180 degrees. When you look good and win the game in a loud, crazy environment against a playoff team, I'm not saying you're saying this, we shouldn't be encouraged by that. Please, you should be encouraged by that.
Yeah,
one game.
It's just one game, but they did a lot of things right. They did a lot of things right and didn't make mistakes. And it was a totally different vibe than last year. And, and there's a big reason for that.
Well,
and he was in New England.
Well, and bear in mind, right, a lot of this was centered on Tom Brady, and he's not. I love all of this. So the internet's been going crazy for 12 hours now about is Tom Brady going to sign with the Jets? Is he the Jets savior? It's over.
Did you not watch last year?
Did you watch it? Right? Did you watch last year? Did you watch him Sunday celebrating in New England, and he's going to turn around 2 days later and put a Jets uniform on?
No,
it's over.
It's over.
So he's moved on, and the Buccaneers have moved on. Thank you, GOAT, for everything you got here. But it's time to move on to the next chapter with Mayfield and the players that you have for now.
Trying to make Kaepernick.
Carson Wentz.
Kaepernick.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah. Brett Favre. Throw it all out there.
Throw them all out there. Anybody that could go help the Jets. Joe Willie can't play anymore. He's in his 80s. But
he was good on picking games this week, though. Fantastic. In Alabama. Go Bama. How about that? How about Texas coming in there and spanking them? All right. Go get some prep done or whatever you got to do with the Twins or whatever. Did we get the vehicle worked out last week for prom?
We got everybody there. I was in Minnesota. There were no hiccups. Everybody got there, had a great time at the homecoming dance. One twin was so disappointed with her dress, she threw her dress in the garbage after it was over. I'm revealing secrets on FanStream JP. I said, we did what? I said, but apparently the dress had been discounted, and now we know why it was discounted. And she's like, that dress is garbage. Welcome to my world on dealing with that. But the homecoming dance is in the books, so we're good on that. We get a week 1 win, huge weekend. And by the way, I know you're using promo codes with our buddies at Ticket Smarter. How about Buccaneers home opener on the secondary market? USF Alabama, Florida Tennessee this weekend, all in the region or at Raymond James Stadium. Use those Ticket Smarter codes that you guys are giving out there and get on the secondary market and get your seats and go make some noise. There are going to be a lot of Alabama fans in the seats. We know this. Saturday, there are going to be a lot of Bear fans in Raymond James Stadium on Sunday. But, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm happy to be on with you as always to break it down.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, good stuff. We're going to talk some Rays baseball here in our next segment. We've digested the propaganda that was put out there this weekend. I'll tell you where I think it's headed. Who knows at this point with Stu Sternberg, but we'll get into that next. Our thanks to good folks at Italiano Insurance. If you're shopping your homeowner's insurance out there, give them a call, 813-877-7799. They might be able to find you a deal. They did with my auto insurance, saved me $1,000 over my premium from last year. That's big money, folks. And the Golden Diamond Source, bring your gold coins, bring your silver coins, your silver flatware, whatever you got. If it's a precious metal, bring it in. They'll give you cash money for it. And, of course, the great folks at Extravaganza Productions who will be working the 90s Con this weekend. They're setting up that whole deal.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be a big – that's sold out. And, of course, they go to Extravaganza Productions to set that up. Big event or small event, they will do it for you. Just go to their website, extravaganzaproductions.com. They'll give you a free creative session if you mention the JP show. And you can go look at the warehouse, all the cool things they got there, and see if they can do a party for you. Extravaganza Productions. Back in 3 with some race talk. Stay with us.
Old coins sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on. Thank you guys for joining us and commenting. We'll get to some of your comments as well. There are already some comments on the Rays situation. I wanted to roll back there. If you see some of these, Peter, just jump on in here.
Lots of Rays comments today with Stu, and here's one from. Did you see this one right here?
Yeah.
Stu will be the demise of the Rays if he keeps down this path. The new stadium in St. Pete is like a piling crap on a pile of. It's still, unless you change the location, it stays that way. I mean, we talked about this. I think it's most likely I think it's going to get done in St. Pete because simply St. Pete needs it the most. They have the money. Now he's changed his tune where he's saying, I'm going to pay more than half. At the beginning of the process, I was only going to pay $250 and
$150 million was the first one
or something.
Well, as we've told you for a long time here, and I was told specifically by one of the Rays top executives that he would be willing to pay half the price if the deal was right. I've been telling you that for 6 years. And that's been the truth. But he didn't think the deal was right in Hillsborough County at the time. And admittedly, Hillsborough wasn't as buttoned up as they needed to be at that particular time. But I feel like had he done the deal there with the framework that was available, the deal would have got done. And we'd be playing in a new stadium right now. And it would have been a hell of a lot cheaper than it's going to cost you to build something less than right now for $1.2 billion. So, but it was always, I think his main focus was to stay at Tropicana Field as long as he could because he makes a crap ton of money there. He doesn't pay a penny for the lease. Doesn't matter how many people come through the doors. He still gets a crap ton of money because he got a huge upfront payment from Fox Sports before these regional sports networks went under. Smart move by him because he got his money up front to the tune of $400+ million, which according to the lawsuit, he moved into another company and didn't put back into the team. But these are so where we're at now. Suddenly he comes out and says, I'd be willing to pay up to $600 million for a new stadium in St. Petersburg.
You should pay $6 to. You should.
Of course, you should pay half.
Majority of it.
Yeah, you bought the team for $50 million of your money, and now and according to the lawsuit, screwed over tons of people to get 90% control of the team, which you now have. And have been paying off your investment for a long, long time, making tens of millions of dollars in profit each and every year, paying yourself so much money that you won't even reveal to your partners how much you're paying yourself each and every year. It's been nothing but money grab from Stu Sternberg. And now, according to this article, he wants to put up $600 million to build a stadium in St. Petersburg in a failed location. And, it's interesting, a lot of the words that he used in this article that I kind of want to break down. I think it's what's funny is how the dude completely contradicts himself constantly, because when you're constantly doing double talk, and not telling the truth, this is what you get into. It's like, am I selling the team? Is the team for sale? Well, it's never been for sale, but I'll always listen.
What does that mean? What does that even mean?
It's not for sale, but if people are going to make me an offer, I'll listen. Well, then it's for sale.
Then it's for sale, dude.
Then it's for sale. I mean, I don't know what were this like mental or these word salad that he says. He said, I think you could say I'm open to selling the team, but I've always been open to selling the team. And then later on in the art, he said, we've always maintained that it's not for sale. And like, if you're writing this article, would you not go, didn't you just say, didn't I just write in this story 2 paragraphs earlier?
But who's writing who's writing the article?
Mark Topkin.
Well, there you go.
And it is what it is.
Mark,
he's going to talk to Mark. But like, if you're Mark Topkin, do you not say, well, Stu, I got a quote that you just said you're not selling the team. No, we've always maintained that it's not for sale when you just said up there that it was for sale. I mean, what are we doing here? But anyway, so basically what we've told you is the price for these teams has gone bonkers, but I think it's starting to level out a little bit because of the uncertainty in the economy. The Forbes usually from the sales that happen, they usually value the team at about 2/3 of what it's actually worth, what it actually eventually sells for. Not Forbes does a valuation every year, and when these teams have been sold, they've missed by about 30%. So I think they valued the Rays most recently at about $1.25 billion. So I think that now there's an offer on the table for $1.85 billion. And I don't, for the life of me, I don't know why Stu doesn't just take his money and run, because basically he thinks he can get more money. And he also admitted that he is still talking to Tampa, even though he says in this article that they're very close to getting something done in St. Petersburg. And then there's this that I really haven't heard him say this before, and I think it's very interesting. Where is it? Where he says the new owner will move it out of town.
Something along the lines of investors. It's
down towards the bottom. This is the threat that is the one that's aimed at Hillsborough County more than anything else. Sternberg said the Rays made it clear to any inquiring partner that if the new stadium deal is completed, the team is staying put. But he said if there is no agreement for a new stadium, he would sell the team and expect the new owners to move it out of Tampa Bay area after the 2027 expiration of the Tropicana Field lease. Quote, if I get something done here, the best buyer will be somebody from somewhere else and the team will be sold. If I can't get something done here, the best buyer will be somebody from somewhere else and the team will be sold. He said, I will not be moving the team. I've always been clear on that. He noted that he viewed the previously considered controversial plan to have the team split between Tampa Bay and Montreal, during which it also sought to raise capital to pay stadium costs, as a way to keep it based locally. But he also said during that this was not a major league market. All right, so let's not forget that. But we didn't bring that quote up in here.
Yeah, well, you didn't quote up. No, we didn't. Yeah, but
Sternberg. Let me just complete this thought, Peter. Sternberg said the Rays have been working very closely and diligently with St. Pete and Pinellas County officials on the new stadium as part of the 86-acre historic gas plant district redevelopment, and are optimistic about their goal to have agreements by the end of the year. Quote, things are moving forward. Nothing ever goes completely forward in a straight line. You get from here to there. You have setbacks and all, but I think we're moving along at a very nice pace, and I feel pretty good about where we stand. As those talks, which include Global Hines developer, proceed, Sternberg says the Rays continue to talk at some level with Tampa representatives about the potential for a stadium there. However, that seems increasingly unlikely given the lack of action so far. Quote, we stay in contact with them, he said, and we'll keep it at that. So, look, this is the other part of it. If he sells this threat about moving it out of town, if he sells it to someone else and says they'll likely move it out of town, he doesn't control that, and nor do the people that buy the team. That is controlled by Major League Baseball. All of the other owners, 2/3 of the owners, have to agree to move the franchise. And if there's one thing that I can take for certain from this commissioner, is that when he says the Rays are not going anywhere, he means it. because he knows, like everybody else that owns teams in baseball, you don't want to leave the 11th largest market that will probably be the 9th largest market within the next 5 to 10 years, the life of a stadium. 30 years, it could be even bigger than that. And you do not want to leave a market based on all of the major league broadcast deals that MLB has. You don't want to leave a market of this size, especially when you have smaller markets that are willing to pay a $2 billion expansion fee. I've said this to you folks a billion times. The other owners have no interest in the Rays moving so Stu Sternberg can make a huge profit off the sale of the team and then moving to another place where they're going to charge a relocation fee or could get a $2 billion expansion fee. Why would the other owners cut their own throats? It just to help Stu Sternberg? No. They don't like Stu Sternberg, as you saw with the Sister City idea. And they don't like the fact that they have to pay him revenue sharing checks and have been for a long time. And they've come to realize that the reason they're still paying that is because it's a failed location in St. Petersburg. And there is a deal to be done in Hillsborough County because the Hillsborough County people are speaking directly to Rob Manfred and telling him what's going on here. And so he doesn't get it. Manfred doesn't get just his information from Stu Sternberg, who was deceiving Manfred for many years on what was going on in Hillsborough County. So these other owners have caught on to the gig of what Stu's been doing, and they're not very happy about it. So what they want to see is this new stadium in the center of the market, closer to Orlando, where there's the Brightline station is going to come in right downtown Tampa. They want to see it there so they can take advantage of all this regional population explosion and take advantage of the Orlando, which is the 18th largest market and growing. And within this regional area, you're so much closer to another 2.53 million people in the Orlando area by putting it in downtown Tampa. It's a no-brainer. Everybody knows that St. Petersburg is a failed location in terms of Major League Baseball, and they have to approve all of this. This idea that Stu Sternberg can just decide to do the stadium deal by himself without the approval of the owners, decide to sell the team and move it, and the new owners move this team it's just not true. There has to be an approval process by all the other owners. And this is what Major League Baseball wants. And they also know that there are people willing locally to buy this team and build a stadium in Tampa. So I don't know how this is going to end. If Stu can ramrod this through without the approval of the owners, I don't think he can do that. Maybe legally he thinks he can make the challenge and make it work. I don't know why he would do that. My sense is he's just going to take the profit, let the new ownership group figure out what they can do in Hillsborough County, and then he's going to get an even bigger piece. And now that he's duped St. Petersburg into giving him the development rights without guaranteeing them having to build a stadium there, that's where he makes the most money. So what do? I follow the money. Where will Stu make the most money? Selling the team, allowing them to build in Tampa like the Major League Baseball owners want, and him taking his profit and getting the development share from not only that deal that he already has in place with the lease, but then also making money off the development rights with his partner Hines. That's a double dip. Who's better at double dipping than Stu Sternberg? I mean, it's a brilliant financial move. He's going to make billions. He'll make at least a $1.5 billion profit, if not $2 billion, from the sale of the team. And then the development rights even more. So he doesn't care whether it's in St. Petersburg or Tampa. He just wants to make more money. And that's how he does it. So I still think this is more smoke than fire in St. Petersburg. I don't think they're stupid enough. Major League Baseball is. I know Major League Baseball is vehemently against building another stadium in a failed location where they're going to have to pay more revenue sharing dollars to the new owners. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? People can come at me all they want with, Stu said this and Stu said this and Welch said this and Stu said this. And they're not the ones with the power here. It's the other owners. And Stu has power. He does have power, obviously, because he's the owner of the team. But where can he make the most money? By selling it and allowing them to go to Tampa. That's that, and making more money in the redevelopment.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. Follow the money.
That's what it comes down to, the redevelopment money, and it comes down to everything else. And you're exactly right. It's all about double dipping, and that's what Stu has done with this ownership. He's not only gotten revenue sharing money, but also refused to invest in the product themselves. So, of course, and then we don't know what that lawsuit is all about. but there's something to that. He put it somewhere. He put all that money that he got from the revenue sharing of the owners. He put all that money he saved that he didn't want to invest in the team in the first place. He's a natural double dipper all the time.
He's the double dipper.
He's a double dipper. And to me, the most likely scenario would be either A, he sells the team and tries to buy a part of the New York Mets, or he tries to get in on that expansion franchise, wherever that's going to be.
I think, probably Stu would probably get out of baseball altogether and just take his profit and run. Maybe by, I don't know if Steve Cohen wants to give him a piece of the Mets. Who knows? But I see him just taking his money and running at this point. We'll see. And because, who knows where the economy's going. It's probably a good time to sell whatever you got, sell it and put it into gold or whatever. Donald Vesey puts it quite succinctly. Yeah.
I'm just checking something right now because it looks like okay. Well, I just saw something and then now I don't see it again. Somebody just said R.I.P. Mike Williams.
Yeah, let's don't erroneously report again that Mike Williams has passed away.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just wait to find out what the deal is. So,
Agree.
And by the way, on the field, as far as the Rays go, great win last night in Minnesota. They just keep getting contributions from Taylor Walls is back, hits a home run last night, but they lose Jose Siri to a broken right hand. They were somewhat optimistic last night, I guess, that he could come back earlier than the usual. I don't know where that stands. But that's another just horrific blow. I mean, his defense, the 25 home runs, the speed on the base paths. Now you're going to be without that in Baltimore this weekend. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
Just keep on. Emmanuel Margot's not ready to come back for another week or so. He's down doing a rehab stint in the minors. So Josh Lowe, I guess, will take over in center, or Luke Raley. I mean, you just, you lose a lot there defensively.
Yep.
The lineup just becomes thinner and thinner. I mean, how much more can this team take in terms of injuries? And Paredes hopefully will be back tonight. He got hit this weekend, so he's been out. So, man, I mean, it's just how much more can you take this team? They keep winning, though. It's amazing. They keep winning. Great win last night over the Twins, another team that's in first place and fighting for their playoff lives. So they'll go at it again tonight with Minnesota, and then this weekend they got 4, but it doesn't look like they're going to get Margot back for that or get any help from not much help from Durham. It looks like so.
Yeah, it looks like that. We got the official here from Ian Rappaport, Rap Sheet. Former NFL wide receiver Mike Williams passed away this morning after a tough battle. According to his agent, Hadley Engelhard of Enter Sports Management, he will be missed. He fought hard his whole life. Prayers to his family. Williams was tragically injured while performing electrical work, of course, construction. So there you go.
Yeah, what
it's
a
official
tragic loss, man. Hate to see that for a young guy. Had so much promise, and it's a good player for the Bucks. Free spirit, good dude. Taken way too early.
Agree.
Scott Valdez says, "Do we need to take another break?" By the way, did we get them all in?
We can take another one real quick if you want.
Let's take our final break. Got to thank our sponsors, as always, the lovely folks who bring you this program. So please go visit their businesses and let them know you heard it on the JP Peterson Show. Back in 3 to finish it all up. Stay with us.
It's the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Gold and Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rate, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement cost, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
News. Well, at least it's fun news to close the show. Did you see Kyle Brandt gave the angry run scepter to Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield.
There you go.
Yes, I know you like that. Oh, all right. Details from Ian Rappaport for the new Joe Burrow contract. 5 years, $275 million. Keep in mind his performance on Sunday, just saying. Joe Burrow now gets $146.5 million fully guaranteed at signing and more than $100 million total earnings by March. $40 million roster bonus, $55 million option bonus. Jeez. Wow. Yeah. Quarterback contracts. You got to love it. You'll kind of wonder what Patrick Mahomes is going to get next.
Well, say goodbye to who's up next? T. Higgins. Say goodbye to Tyler Boyd. And good luck replacing those guys. And it's getting ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. Is this what the union wants? Is this what the union wants?
Yes, this is exactly what they want. They want the market to go crazy. And what I don't understand.
Yeah, but it doesn't leave much. But it doesn't leave much left over for running backs.
It doesn't.
Who are pretty. It doesn't leave. I mean, where do we stop with this madness?
Did anybody
$55 million?
Did anybody
$55 million?
Did anybody not learn through the years? It's all about the Brady blueprint, which taking less money at the quarterback.
You know they don't want the quarterbacks to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they should start scaling positions, but now so much of especially defense is positionless.
Right.
I don't know how you do it. I guess you just let the market be the market, but it just seems like you're going to get to the point where you have these great quarterbacks that have nobody around them. That's bad football.
Yeah.
That's bad football. You just if every year you're losing the consistency with your receivers and having to start over, and Joe Burrow's not going to be Joe Burrow. I mean, I guess the quarterback should say, I don't want that much money. I want to be able to space it out with my receivers. I guess where quarterbacks could do that. I mean, you're right. That's what Brady did. Brady did.
Yeah.
So
and Rodgers
maybe you just
to a certain degree too.
Yeah, maybe you just wait to see if these quarterbacks catch on because, yeah, it's not. I think it hurts the league. It hurts the league, but I mean, I'm not here telling, guys, don't get your bag. But if I would look a little bit more in depth if I was a quarterback and I'd already made a ton of money in this league that I can make. I can make a lot of money off the field if I'm winning Super Bowls. Look at Patrick Mahomes, for God's sakes. How much does State Farm pay him? How much does Subway pay him? And it's just you got to look at the whole picture. It's not just what you're making on your team, right? What are you making on Wall Street? How many endorsements do you have? And if you're winning Super Bowls like Patrick Mahomes winning them, I mean, Joe Burrow could disappear. I mean, make his money, but just disappear. And, if you're going 8-8, nobody wants you selling subs or insurance, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's what it comes down to. And even Patrick Mahomes, he had some losses, right? They lost Tyreek Hill. Didn't seem to matter, but that's the kind of thing that you have to look out for when you're signing that big-time contract, and you have to put it into context. T. Higgins is a young wide receiver. You're going to pay Jamar Chase and T. Higgins at the same time? Not with that contract. I don't know.
Bucks Live says with the salary cap, the same amount gets spent on players. The union can't want everybody other than the quarterback making so much less. That's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, it's still going to the players, but we saw how pissed off the running backs got this year, right? Bitching and moaning. It's going to kind of, they're all looking at the quarterback with the side eye. Going, what are you?
But they still took the contract. Josh Jacobs still took his contract. Saquon Barkley still took the contract, and they got paid. They didn't get paid great. I mean, the market value is low for running backs. It's not going to get any higher because, again, JP, you can get a running back in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round.
Supply and demand.
Yeah,
the market. Yeah. All right, that'll do it for us today. Our thanks to Scott Reynolds and TJ Reeves who joined us on this Tuesday, this Super Tuesday. Great job by you, Peter Blake. Not only tonight, but last night as well, getting us on the air for our patios. Don't forget our patio Monday Night Football, and don't forget about their happy hours each and every day from 3 to 7:30. 4.5 hours you can sit at the bar. $1 off beer and wine. There's low prices already. Great place to hang out. The patio. We will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, folks. Have a great day.